Hi again. In the past, I mentioned a saying that says, when you're going through hell, don't stop, keep going. And it's important that, when we understand that things get tough, that, we don't need to give up. Sometimes when we stop and we let things consume us, we can stay stuck, and then ultimately we don't get out of that hell. Like, it's part of understanding that, just how much more control we can have over a lot of things. I'm quite what's the word? I'm quite surprised when I talk to a lot of people, even in big groups, about mental health and understanding how their brain neuroscience works or any of that stuff, how little they do know. And a big part of it is you don't know what you don't know, right? So what I call unconsciously incompetent, it's probably a nasty way, or it sounds nasty in that sense, but if you don't know about it, and no one tells you about it, and you don't go to think to find it, you won't go and find it. So, part of these videos is about helping people get to a point when they realise that they're not competent. So now they're consciously incompetent, and then they might choose to do stuff to get their competence level up. When I talk about physical health and ask people about, who knows about physical health, lots of hands go up. They talk about gyms, they talk about nutrition, carbohydrates, protein. Everyone knows all this stuff. Talk about different diets, keto diet, all that stuff. You ask about mental health, and a few hands go up. They talk about mindfulness, the common things that come up as, and then you go, how many people are actually doing any kind of meditation and stuff that they're raising the things that they know about? And then, it's like one or two people actually do it. And so it's not about, saying you have to do that or this. Is about just understanding your level of competence when it comes to mental health. When I was a counsellor and I was working with people who'd had issues, let's say it's trauma or they had a bad event, all that sort of stuff, we acknowledge that the event occurred, but we also have to acknowledge now that it's continuing. Now that you're no longer in danger or whatever the trauma was, had some kind of, defense mechanism. Most times when I'm dealing with people who've had issues, there's a defensiveness about whatever's happened. And so part of that or sadness or a high emotion comes with it. But understanding that now it's a memory of that event and you're actually in control, or the person's actually in control of it themselves in terms of how long and how deliberate and how painful that experience or that memory of that experience will continue. So understanding that you now, as a person, you've had the event's gone, the event's now only in your head. That's the only place it exists. And so in your head and in your body, that is, you have that experience. So when you think of that event, that memory, you think about it, it takes you somewhere if you allow it to. There's a really good book called You Are the Placebo by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he talks about your unconscious brain being like a wild horse, where it can take you to great places, but if you just let it run free, it'll take you to where it wants to go, not where you as the rider. So think of yourself as the rider going, no. I do not want you to take me down that red brain space. I want you to go here. So being deliberate about your thinking, using the part of the brain that actually allows you to make those changes is a key part of understanding. This is why I talk about that competence. If you understand that bit, that you can actually go, no. Talk to that red brain. It's like two people in your head, right? And we've seen movies and shows about it where it's very real. Like, you can talk to it in a way and say, no, I do not want to go down this path. I've had that experience. This can't define me. People that, that I've interviewed when I was writing my book, who've got out of bad situations where there's a point where they make that decision, and this is exactly what they've done. They've gone and used the blue brain to get themselves out of red, but it's deliberate. They've gone, right, I'm sick of this crap, right? I'm not happy with what's going on. The memory of the trauma of that event has consumed me long enough. I want to make some steps to minimize it, to change it. So we then focus on ways to build on breaking up that old memory, whether we, play it back in our heads in a different way, come up with a different outcome, because we can do that. We can play around with that memory. We can do lots of things, right? Understanding how much you can do and how powerful our brains and our bodies are to do that stuff. That's the great thing about that book I just mentioned, You Are the Placebo, right? The placebo effect's very real. That's why they have to do double and triple blind studies to trick you to find out if the medication is actually working or you think it's working, so it works. So, you know, you can do lots of things with your brain, and understanding how to do that is such a key part. You know, like I say, read these books, make yourself consciously competent is the ultimate game when it comes to mental health. Just like anything, the more you know, the more likely you are to try and do things that can help you and get you out of that space. Or if you think you want to help, you know, your kids and all that kind of stuff, it's about understanding that stuff and say, okay, how can I help my kids be more resilient? How can I help my teenagers be more resilient? By letting them understand how their brains operate, how they can do things that you know, increases their competence, increases their resilience. You can't stop things from happening to people, right? It's just life's life. People are going to die around us. People, you know, pets are going to die. All that stuff. There's lots of things, you know, you could see an accident. You don't know what's around the corner tomorrow. But understanding how you can build some of that resilience by using your brain in a much better way, because you're competent, you kind of can think your way out of things. Yes, you can be sad for a period or you grieve for a period, but the ultimate game is that, you know, you can get out of it and you can understand and see the learnings in it and all that stuff. So, you know, hopefully, if you enjoy this, check out some other videos. I talk a fair bit about red brain, a lot more prefrontal cortex, the amygdala and stuff like that. So it's about kind of sharing this. You know, the more we share this stuff, the more people hopefully get that competency. Thanks.